Hi computer scientists, Mr. Stafford here, and today I'm going to be showing you Unit 2, Lesson 8, Accessing Object Data. So what this is asking me to do is import dessert.java from your backpack. So I'm going to go to backpack, dessert.java, tick that, and click import. And it wants me to write accessor methods for each instance variable in your dessert class. So accessor methods, I also call them getter methods because we're getting information for those instance variables. So I'm here in my dessert class, okay? But then this gives me a little information about the dessert class with your private string flavor, quantity, and price. And then we have our constructors, and the implementation of the constructors aren't shown here. But I'm going to skip past my constructors that we've made with all the different parameters, and I'll start below my last constructor. I'm also looking at these comments. So it says accessor method for flavor, quantity, and price, and I'm actually going to copy those comments and put them into my code. Save me a little bit from writing those comments, but it also give me a little to-do list. Okay, so I need to write an accessor method for flavor, and again I call these getter methods because the name of them are, I'm going to call it get flavor. So I'm going to start with public so everybody can see it, and then I'm going to need the return type, and so I need to know what data type flavor is. Flow up to the top, flavor is a string. Okay, so I'm actually just going to copy string so I don't have to type it. Why not? Public string, and this is going to be called get flavor. Open and close parentheses, open curly braces, and use the keyword return flavor, which is our instance variable name. Okay, and then I need an accessor method for quantity. So I'm going to say public quantity is an int, and I'm going to say get quantity, and no parameters, and I'll need to return quantity. And the last accessor method that I need to write is for price, and this is going to be public. Price is a double, so say that data type, that return type is a double, and it's going to be get price. Open and close parentheses, open curly brace, and I need to return price. Okay, so those are the three accessor methods. I'm going to go ahead and click finish, and I suppose I'll commit my code for my dessert class, and I'm going to say accessor methods commit, and click finish. Don't forget to commit our code. And so it's asking me to run myfoodtruck.java and say what I notice about the outputs of the program and fix the code to print each value in a separate line with text to label the value. So I need to run this, and I'm seeing that I'm getting my output as chocolate 122.99. So it's asking me to fix my code so that each value is on a separate line with text to label it. So I'm looking at my system.out.print, and if I want it on a line, I'm going to do print ln for print line, and I'll do the last one as well, even though it won't show up. Okay, and I'll say the flavor is, and then concatenate it with the new dessert.getFlavor accessor method. And I want to run it just to make sure that I'm kind of on the right track, and it says the new flavor is chocolate. I've got no space. I've forgotten my space there. Let's put a colon along with the space. The new flavor is chocolate. And I'm seeing that I have 12 and 2.99 on separate lines, but it's not very descriptive. So I want to say that the quantity is, and then concatenate it. And for the price is, and run that. So I have the flavor is chocolate, the quantity is 12, and the price is 2.99. I'll tick finish. Going to level number 4, it says import your cake.java from your backpack. So I'm going to the backpack, importing cake. It says write accessor methods for the additional instance variables in your cake class. So we already have flavor, quantity, and price because we're extending dessert, the dessert class. So I'm inheriting those accessor methods from my dessert class. The only additional accessor methods I need to write are for layers and topping. Okay, so I'm getting underneath my constructor, and I'll write a couple of comments. Accessor method for layers and accessor method for toppings. Okay, my first accessor method for layers, I'm going to say public, and layers is an integer, so I'm going to say public int get layers, open and closed, and return layers. Just making sure that that's the name of my instance variable, and it is layers. And the next one I need to do is toppings, and that's a string. So I'm going to say public string get toppings, open and close parentheses, open curly braces, return toppings. Okay. Run this just to make sure I don't have any errors, and it looks like I do, and I'm going to be returning toppings. Oh, I accidentally put 2 open and close parentheses next to it. The next thing that I've got, return toppings. Oh, and it's not toppings, it's just topping is the name of it. So I put an additional S. This is why we run it, just to make sure that we're not getting any errors. So I've got no errors, and this is the same printout as before. If I wanted to test it, I can come back here and do a system.out.println. What did I just write for my cake class? Layers and topping. I'll need to make an object first, though, before I can print it out. So I'm going to say cake choco equals new cake. And with the cake, this is also going to be chocolate. I'm going to want 3 of these at 250. And I'm just making this up as I go along. For my cake, I need layers and topping. Layers is going to be a 7-layer cake with toppings of sprinkles. So I'm testing out, let's test out toppings. So the toppings are, then I'm going to say choco dot get toppings. And run this. And the toppings are sprinkles. Very good. Okay, I can click finish there. On to the next one, import your other dessert subclass from your backpack. So in lesson 7, you were given the choice to make one of 4 different subclasses of desserts. I chose to make a cookie. Yours might be different, but I'm going to go ahead and import my cookie. And it says write accessor methods for the additional instance variables in your subclass. So I'm going to make an accessor method for the diameter and for if it's chewy or not. Okay. So a couple of comments, accessor method for diameter and accessor method for if it's chewy. So it needs to be public. Diameter is going to be an int, so public int get diameter, open and close parentheses. I'm going to return diameter. And public is chewy is a Boolean, so it will return true or false. Public Boolean get is chewy, open and close parentheses, open curly braces, and we return is chewy. Okay, run this, make sure I don't have any errors before I move on. I don't have any errors. Step number 2 says create an object of your subclass in Myfoodtruck.java. So I need to make a cookie. So I'm going to say cookie. My wife makes the best pumpkin cookies. Cookie, pumpkin equals new. Cookie. Okay. And with that cookie, I need a flavor, a quantity, a price, a diameter, and if it's chewy or not. So the flavor is going to be pumpkin. Quantity is going to be 5. Price is going to be $3.33. Flavor, quantity, price. Diameter, and if it's chewy or not. Diameter is a 3-inch cookie. Reasonable. Let's say it's 3 inches. And if it's chewy, it's going to be true. That is a true statement. Okay, and then the owner wants to know the total number of desserts they have in their inventory and how much of their inventory is worth. So use the accessor methods in your class to calculate the information in Myfoodtruck.java. So, okay, owner wants to know the total number of desserts they have in their inventory. So I've got a new dessert here, a chocolate cake here, and a pumpkin cookie here. So what I need to do is get the quantity from every single dessert in this class. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go int inventory is going to be equal to new dessert. That's the name of my first object that I have right here. New dessert dot get quantity. And I'm going to add that to my choco cake dot get quantity. Open and close parentheses because it's a method. I've forgotten that on the first call. And then add that to pumpkin dot get quantity. All right, and I'm going to test this out. System dot out dot print, and I'm going to print out inventory with a little statement saying total inventory. Make it look pretty with a colon and space. Okay, just a little quick math. I have 12 new desserts plus 3 choco cakes, which is 12 and 3 is 15. Plus another 5 should be 20. Let's see if that comes out to be right. Total inventory is 20. Good so far. So the total, the owner wants to know the total number of desserts they have in their inventory and how much their total inventory is worth. And we need to know what the total inventory is worth. Okay, so I'm going to change things up a little bit. Inventory of new desserts. No, I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm going to say, because I need to make it a double because we want to know how much everything is worth. So it's going to be a double. And I'm going to say new dessert worth, or yeah, new dessert worth is going to be equal to new dessert dot get quantity, and I'm going to multiply that by new dessert dot get price. So how we get the price of that object is with our get price method. I'm going to go to new dessert, show you that accessor method. So this is the get price, and so however many objects I have is with the quantity, and I need to multiply it by the get price. So I'm actually going to do that 2 more times. So I'm going to copy that and do double, what do I want to say? The Choco price. New Choco, I guess, worth. New Choco worth. Instead of it being a new dessert, it's going to be Choco.getQuantity and a Choco.getPrice. Then I'm going to do a double. New pumpkin worth. And instead of new dessert, I need to change that to pumpkin. And pumpkin. All right. And the last thing I want to do is print this out. So system.out.print and total inventory worth. And I can add this all in the same print statement. Or, you know what, I'm going to do that, and let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to copy new dessert worth and new Choco worth and new pumpkin worth. So here's what's going through my head. I think it's going to concatenate this string with the new dessert worth. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run it and see what the total inventory is. Oh, I also need to do a print line. With the, because I've got total inventory and then in total inventory worth. So that needed to be a print line. I'm going to rerun that. And it did. So total inventory worth. So our order of operations, I've got a string and then I put the plus sign in here. What I wanted to do was add these worths together, but what it really did was concatenate them. So a couple things that we can do. I can create a new variable if I want to store the variable in that, or I can use our order of operations and put this addition, okay, put these operands, new dessert worth, new Choco worth, and new pumpkin worth, put those operands in parentheses so that those are done first as double addition. Okay, so let's run this again. And total inventory, $60.03. That sounds a little bit more reasonable. Okay, so a couple ways you could have done that. Could have made another double with and add new dessert worth, new Choco worth, and new pumpkin worth, or put it all in the same print statement and use order of operations using parentheses to print that out. Let's commit our code. We have changed a whole lot. That's number one thing I needed to remind you. Go to commit your code. Let's commit it all. Okay, and make a note that we have written Accessor Methods. And commit and save. All right.